Hi everybody, Matt Roszak, co-founder of Vesper Finance. Today I'm going to be speaking about effective strategies to increase DeFi accessibility. If the last year has shown us anything, it's that DeFi is here to stay. We've seen the Cambrian explosion of innovation. A year ago, kind of DeFi raised a lot of antennas, a lot of interest, and now is, if you look at DeFi Pulse, it's about a $77 billion market. And my sense is a year from now, that'll add a zero, get close to $1 trillion, and really grow from there. And DeFi feels like it's the first crypto use case to capture the hearts and minds of the masses. And it's a really important primitive because it's where people could actively participate, where traditional finance might not be an option. And so DeFi's momentum is really reflected in Vesper's success. We hit over $1 billion in TVL just a few weeks out of coming out of beta. So we're really at the front end of this amazing new Cambrian explosion of innovation in finance. The Vesper ecosystem. So the way we approached Vesper and our products is we looked at a lot of the challenges that we saw in DeFi in the early days, and that had everything to do with UI, UX, professionalism around auditing smart contracts, documentation, and then just having a much more known team. My co-founder, Jeff Garzik, has been around for quite some time. And so we distilled all that into Vesper and really wanted to streamline the look and feel, some of the positionings of the buttons, and a lot of the what I would say simple but important parts of making sure that an app is easy to use and accessible. We also created the Vesper pool, which is two things. One is it acts as a governance platform for users to vote on the future dimension of Vesper, and then two, provides an economic bite, a participation in the fee revenue that Vesper creates. But there's a lot of challenges in how DeFi is gearing up, and some of the biggest opportunities are obviously still in front of us. So in order for DeFi to kind of reach its full potential on a global scale, we need to attract more participants into the ecosystem. I always find it kind of amazing that also for Vesper and then just DeFi broadly defined is the vast majority of the TVL, the total value locked, it comes via things like MetaMask. And so that just shows and puts in perspective how much more accessibility and kind of the bridges, roads, and tunnels that we built to DeFi are still kind of in front of us. But it is a $77 billion real money test that's going on right now through DeFi, creating value and really exercising what the potential could be. And you know, like a year ago, I would have never thought that, you know, Kevin O'Leary or Mark Cuban would be talking about DeFi and yield farming, which, you know, we've come a long way. We've got a lot more work to do. But DeFi, I think, has to be simpler to engage with. I think a lot of the primitives, whether it's borrowing, lending, creating yield, all the different components of DeFi are really powerful, but they're not that easy to engage with. And I think that's going to be the next phase of kind of DeFi advancement is the UI UX. Some of the ways you could save time with 1 click versus 3 clicks, and make the experience a lot more intuitive, kind of going forward. And asking ourselves, how do we do that? You know, and which was one of the kind of recipes into building Vesper. One of our core principles is really to think through the UI UX, the types of products, and then kind of the engagement. How do you actually get people, whether it's individuals or institutions, to participate in this Cambrian explosion of DeFi? So one of the biggest barriers in kind of the global adoption is accessibility. DeFi requires a decent amount of technical knowledge, and it's like kind of like the early days of the internet or early days of any other kind of sector in tech. The early days are kind of wonky, not really intuitive, and I think that's where the greatest opportunity is for DeFi over the near term. The second is some professionalization. We're still in an early stage in DeFi, and we're going through this massive innovation cycle, and it's a learning curve. And so some of the dynamics of making sure that there's multiple external smart contract audits, documentation, and a lot of things that, quite frankly, are key in open source development. And I think more rigor around that, I think will benefit the industry. And then one of the last pieces that's really critical that people are trying to solve through multi-chain approaches is dealing with high fees. And that continues to be a challenge today. But again, this is kind of a picture, a moment in time, and kind of the movie as this evolves will get better and better and easier with less fees as this industry matures. So many of the ways users are actively accessing DeFi are not, that user friendly, and that demonstrates the need for a better standard in terms of UI UX. I would also think about the future of DeFi, and you have all these incredible developers building lending, borrowing, derivative, all these different platforms in DeFi. But there's this opportunity to create this dashboard, this browser to DeFi that really kind of harnesses all that amazing innovation into one interface. So the user, or whether it's an API for an institution, or the user could really make sense of all this and create strategies and these treadmills essentially to keep your capital working for you. And I think that's a huge opportunity. So the way we're approaching this in many ways, obviously with our UI, trying to continue to advance a simple user interface. But then you think about what are the other spokes you could build off of a DeFi platform. And so, the biggest blood vessel right now in many ways is MetaMask. Then you look at what other spokes off the hub that you could build. One thing we did is we partnered with Blockforce Capital that's building a traditional GP LP fund to invest in DeFi. And so that's one kind of appendage to that. We're seeing a lot of things with Grayscale and Bitwise and others that are building public platforms and funds to invest in DeFi. There's also an institutional go-to-market whereby DeFi platforms are engaging with some of the biggest financial institutions in the world and creating permissioned pools. And I think those will be interesting to see how they develop, whether they get really big or whether they are used as a kind of a stepstone to getting into DeFi. There's some regulatory and other challenges around that, but that's also a massive opportunity for the DeFi ecosystem to engage with institutions on that side. And then another way is for every team in DeFi or crypto, the kind of the secret sauce to getting it right is really leveraging the community, and whether that's creating a white space, a canvas for them to build and innovate on, or also creating incentives and bounties for them to help a particular platform move the needle. And then in terms of accessibility and the fees and some of that perspective, I think we're continuously exploring multi-chain solutions to really streamline that kind of cost structure on the fees. And we'll be announcing more on that in the coming weeks. And then lastly, I'm really proud of the Vesper's Global Ambassador program that we built. And it helps evangelize and contextualize what Vesper is doing, what DeFi is in many parts of the world, and doing it in context locally. And we think that's very important as this ecosystem continues to develop. In terms of elevating the DeFi experience, again, we kind of covered this a little earlier, but our work specifically with Chainlink is a part of our ability to raise the standard by providing an accurate view of TVL, assets under management. And we really pride ourselves on partnering with some of the best in the ecosystem. And this is certainly one of those partnerships. But we have to continue to raise the standard. So UI, UX, getting the audits done, published publicly. And I think the audit business in DeFi continues to be a challenge because a lot of them have a backlog. And so the timing, right now there's probably a lot of interesting primitives hanging out on the desks of smart contract auditors. And so there's going to be a lot more amazing product and evolution in this space. But it's one of the kind of the friction points today. So beyond the audits, we at Vesper work through a very kind of rigorous and professional process, similar to what you would see at Google or AWS. And some of that has given us an ability to chat with several institutions that are interested in partnering with Vesper. So we're going to continue to push forward and figure out this bridge work between traditional finance and DeFi. And there's that middle ground, this hybrid finance, hi-fi, if you will, that I think is a massive opportunity for DeFi, broadly defined. You talk about part of the crowd, the importance of community. Vesper, we're committed to progressive decentralization. The users are the beneficiaries of Vesper at the end of the day, and so community is super core to everything we do. And then the building for sustainability. I mean, we are building this for the long term. Everybody on the team has been in the crypto community for quite some time. My co-founder, Jeff Garzik, has been a Bitcoin Core developer. He's been around since the earliest of days. And a number of our team members have been around crypto since 2015 and have built a lot of some of the best known products in the space. And so, I mentioned this before, but we don't want to work in a vacuum. It's really important that we harness kind of the benefits of our community and of our partners and our ambassadors, and really expand the surface area of how we continue to build and layer on top of some of the foundation that we've built. And so we feel that that's going to continue to grow, not only for Vesper, but in DeFi, broadly defined. As people think about other strategies, other approaches, will be super exciting to watch. In terms of minimizing high fees and getting more global accessibility, this is one of the big barriers. And I think we're seeing this. You'll hear this at Vesper. You're seeing this on other DeFi platforms where Ethereum is Grand Central Station. All the tooling, all the connective tissue, wallets, exchanges, you name it, it is all very well tested. But given the dramatic volume and everything else, the fees are quite high. So people are exploring things like Binance Smart Chain and Solana, Avalanche, every other smart contract platform on the planet to try and reduce fees And it'll be interesting to see if those other chains get a gravitational pull where they get a lot of throughput and volume. And that's I think what that innovation cycle on other layer ones supporting DeFi will be interesting to see how that plays out. But I think for the foreseeable future, I think it's going to be a multi-chain world, and people are going to build and capture as much value from those communities and provide value for those communities in building lily pads beyond just Ethereum. So, and just the broader kind of road to DeFi adoption. As an industry, we the way to expand the conditions for DeFi globally is that we collaborate across these different platforms, and then those that are participating, have a voice. So a lot of these platforms provide governance and votes and a condition where you can participate in the future kind of expansion of these DeFi projects. And for those of you that are actively participating in DeFi, I invite you to check out our pools at Vesper. You'll have an opportunity in the coming weeks to participate in new primitives that haven't been seen yet in the DeFi ecosystem. So our first set of pools were grow pools, which you deposit X and you earn X. One thing that we're really excited about is our earn pools, where you deposit X and earn Y, which is kind of a cool way to program your yield, if you will, and how to direct that. And so we've come a long way in this last year, and I think this is one of the anchoring kind of opportunities in crypto broadly defined. DeFi is just at the beginning. We have a long way to go, and I think the thing that gives me the biggest kind of energy in terms of where this is going is the communities that are involved. These are the developers, the users, the partners. It's been pretty incredible to watch over the last year, and I'm excited to see where all this goes. So thank you for spending time with me today, and you can check out more on Vesper at vesper.finance.
Thank you so much, Matthew, for coming in, talking to us about DeFi. The community likes the term hi-fi, and I do as well. When I think about hybrid smart contracts and centralized finance and decentralized finance. So we'll see how that term floats. Appreciate your time.